Hey guys, good evening. Welcome back to our channel. Hey guys, how's everyone doing? I hope you're well. Hi, beautiful people. Can you hear me? Please give us a thumbs up. And if you can hear me, just say hi in the comment section. Hi, people. Can you guys hear? Anyone home? I can see we got 15 people. If you can hear me loud and clear, just say hello. Long time no see. Hello. Hello. How are we doing? Hi, can you hear me? Yeah. Jane's Variety Food. Jane's. Beauty Balalisha. Hi. Hello. Diplomats. Diplomats. Welcome, oh. How is everybody doing? Zami, how you doing? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe. How you guys doing? Happy Thanksgiving to all our friends, our family members, our loved ones in the stateside. Happy Thanksgiving. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining me tonight. How's your Thanksgiving going? Do you have your turkey, or what do you eat at Thanksgiving again? I can't even remember what you guys have. Is it Thanksgiving you have your turkey? Black Friday. Tomorrow is Black Friday. Oh, I miss America. I do miss America. Welcome, everyone. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so. So tonight, I thought we should have a conversation around Japada. As you guys know, Japa is something that is real. Nigeria is experiencing a high rate of Japa at the moment. So, and as well as people are jackpotting, tons and tons of people are jackpotting. We're not going to lie. I thought we should also talk about Japada. And I particularly want to pay attention to why. I don't know about you, but oftentimes I've come across people who say, oh, I relocated to Nigeria in 2020, and now I'm back to the US. I relocated to Nigeria in 2023, now I'm back. Why does Japada fail? I mean, these things are not set on stone. They are really not set on stone. So I'm going to have two people here tonight who are my guests. One of them is not here yet. He's going to join us later. And I want to have a very robust conversation around these issues tonight. So as much as people are jackpotting, some people are So in case you don't understand the language, let me explain. Thank you very much, everybody. Matthew, how are you, bro? Nice to see you. B, Queen B, welcome. Japa is when you go abroad from Nigeria to any part of Europe, America, anywhere in the diaspora is Japa. Japa, that is those who Japa that now come back to Nigeria or anywhere in Africa. That's what they call Japada. So Japada literally means diasporans who are coming back for one reason or the other. I think we have a lot of conversation about Japa people, but we never really talk about Japada because that's actually a thing. I know Nigerians are the only people that think that once they go abroad that people don't come back. In other countries that I know, for instance, Kenya, there's a lot of Japada going on in places like Kenya. Before this recent, they had some economic problem recently. But before then, I know most Kenyans, they just go to school, come back, they live there, they have their houses, they come back. The people that really Japada as well are Jamaicans. I've noticed that for a lot of Jamaicans, they love Jamaica. They're always coming back home, always building their houses and, starting a business, doing something. The island there's a lot of love for their country. However, people think that Nigerians who go abroad don't jackpada, but that's not true. That's not true. And, Junior is here tonight to enlighten us because actually a lot of Nigerians who were diasporans are back to Nigeria. Okay, before I bring in my guest, right? Let me tell you what happened just 2 days ago. Yesterday was Wednesday. On Tuesday, I was in the market. I was in a store, and a friend of mine came to see me who didn't know I was around. And I just rang her, and she came, and we started talking. We're just catching up. You know how Nigeria, and that's one of the beauty of Nigeria. People just overhear you talking, and they just jump right in. They just jump right into your conversation. So I was having a chat with my friend about how her children. I was like, oh, where is this? Where is that? And she was telling me that one of her sons is in Canada, one is in Liverpool, in the UK, sorry. And then the young lady heard it and was like, oh, do you live in Liverpool? And I said, no, I don't. She was like, oh, I used to live there. And then we have a whole lot of chat. And she said, oh, I relocated back to Nigeria. Life is better here. I make money here and all that. I actually invited her to this show. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it. So there's a lot going on. We Nigerians are very, very sentimental. The last video I posted, I was talking about Lagos and how some parts of Lagos smell. Oh, people were trolling me. How can you describe your country like that? How can you say this? The thing about Nigerians is that we can be unnecessarily sentimental. We are unnecessary. It's the same thing that, like what the video is going through now. People are trolling the video because they said the video made a comment in a show in the US about people about African Americans shouldn't come. That Nigeria is really hard. I don't think we are ready to have a very honest conversation about this. So while I feel it is okay for us to put down the problems, we can also say these are the things that are working. For instance, I can tell you categorically, I was moaning in my last video about the banks and how, I've been frustrated for days, not days, weeks since I came back with Nigerian banks, coming and going for little things that I didn't need to come into the bank for. But I can also tell you that, flying to Abuja, I saw a lot of improvement in the aviation sector. Like the flight that I took to Abuja was on time. Lagos Airport is so sanitized now that you don't have a lot of people loitering and just hanging around. And the thing that really blew my mind was that not the airline was on time, but also when we got to Abuja, our luggage came out almost immediately. And that was very impressive. So I just feel like we should be honest in our reviews. People just want you to say all nice things about Nigeria. But I think we should balance it. If you talk about the issue, also talk about what is working. That's the way I feel about it. Anyway, I've got my guest in the house. Give us a thumbs up if you are just joining us. We are talking about Japa and Japada. I have the Good Life Mentor. Hello, bro. Welcome.
Hello, good evening. Sorry about the non-akara and pop breakfast you wanted to have the other day, but yeah, we made it happen though. So, hello everyone.
Yeah, we are here now. Yeah, I was actually okay. That's Junior. Hi, Junior. How are you?
Doing very well.
I hope you are good. Yeah, okay. The Good Life Mentor is here. How are you, bro?
Good evening, sis. I'm good, and you? Hope you can hear me.
I can hear you loud and clear, and I can see your camera is on. You are ready.
Yes.
Do you want me to put the camera on?
Yeah, you can put it on. I mean,
let me put it on for you because I think you are an expert in this discourse.
I'm not an expert,
you are an expert now.
No.
Yeah.
I've seen all sides of Japa.
You've seen both sides of Japa. Yeah.
Yeah, and Auntie Ngozi Okonjo were like Christine did Japa and Kapa. Kapa is coming back.
Is it Kapa? Oh.
Yeah, she calls it Kapa. You Japa and then you Kapa. So and then you Japa again.
It's so funny. These descriptions are absolutely funny. So you were in the abroad. So you Jakpad and you've Kakpad or Jakpada. Let's use Jakpada because that's the one that people know. You've Jakpada and you said you are almost what's the one now for when you jack is that the what they call Jakpada when you go back?
Yes. Yes,
That's
exactly.
Japada. Okay,
That's
you
Japan.
Jakpa, you
And I
Kakpad, and now
Kakpad,
you were
now
about
I'm
to.
Japada.
You are
Exactly.
Jakpada.
Yes.
So let me explain. In case you don't understand, in case you are lost, guys, Jakpa means relocating abroad. And Kakpa, no. You
Yeah.
explain it. Good luck. Explain it. I think I'm
Yeah.
confused now.
I mean, okay. Let me use the words of Auntie Ngozi. She says, Japa, we all know, Japa is going abroad. And then Kakpa is coming back. And then Japada is going back again.
Oh yeah, Jakpada. All right. I think I get it now. Okay, you've seen both sides of this situation. Junior is also here. He was a diasporan as well, and he has happily. I've never seen a more happier Kakpa person like Junior. Junior is absolutely like he's in love with Nigeria, and he said to me before the show there will always be issues, but as much as we want to focus on the issues, like, the little things that people encounter daily in their day-to-day life, but we're like, for instance, your domestic staff and the things that you deal with, the corruption that we all know of, things that don't work, systems that don't work. But we want to really have a more comprehensive conversation regarding this matter. For instance, want to take some questions that people have regarding this, because I know since I posted a video where I said that I've relocated back to Nigeria, a lot of people are interested. People abroad are usually scared. They are terrified. The longer you live abroad, the more terrified you are of Nigeria. But I always tell people there are over 200 million living their lives. Some of them live very successful life here. So share with us, the Good Life Mentor, your own experience and what you think of this situation.
Well, I mean, like you said, it's a very broad topic, and it depends on who is seeing it and what exactly they are doing. And then talking about Jakpa, Kakpa, and Rejapa, it's so deep that if you look at it from the surface, it might be difficult to just push it or shove it to one side. My experience is that I Japad, and then I Kakpad, but I'm at the point right now where I think that I have to re-Japa.
Jakpada.
Yeah, Japa. So
Yeah.
and reason being that we have values that we hold, and we have things that we believe. You see, I call myself the good life mentor because I tend to try to live the good life, and I mentor people on how to live the good life. The good life doesn't necessarily mean having so much money. It means learning how to be contented and mastering the art of living. Once you do that, people will think that you have everything working for you,
Yeah.
that you have everything going for you. You have so much money, you have, everything set up for you, but most times it's not because you have so much money or you have everything set up for you, but because you are contented and you have been able to understand how to deal with the various little issues.
Right.
Nigeria, to be fair, is a lovely place to live in. The truth is, the question I normally ask people: how would you prefer minus 25 degrees Celsius to plus 25 degrees? I mean, it's not possible.
That's a good question, because
it's not
for
possible.
me,
I have not seen one person who prefers to live under minus 40 instead of plus 14, plus 20 every day. I have not seen anyone, not one. So
yeah.
I mean, everyone that I've spoken to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. The Good Life Mentor.
Everyone that I've spoken to, I mean, my retinue of friends, who live in Canada, everywhere in the world. Luckily, I've traveled a little bit far and wide. I've been to a whole lot of countries across the globe, and I have seen friends who are doing extremely well everywhere. But there is one sing song, which is, can they just fix Nigeria? Let us come back home. Yeah, that's the truth. So what it then tells you is that the reason why people are actually Japan is because the system here is not giving them the opportunity, to excel and do well without all the negativity associated with it. I have a friend, was an acquaintance who came in from Germany to Nigeria. He got to Lagos, he couldn't even go to his village. In fact, he was planning to spend 2 weeks, but after watching the television that evening, in 48 hours, he changed his mind, booked his ticket, and left. That's how terrified he was. But like you already said, is he as bad as that? No. But you have to understand how to live here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a skill. It's a skill as well. You can't live here like you are living abroad. It's not possible.
Yeah.
You know, and then
So
okay, go ahead.
So before we even get into the nitty gritty, Junior is gonna speak in a minute. I want to talk about Lagos first of all, because in one of the videos I made when I came to Nigeria, I was in Victoria Island and I was talking about, I was even joking when I said it. I was like, "Oh, Lagos smells." My friend was telling me off for saying that, but I think Nigerians are overly sensitive when it comes to the real issues. Instead of holding the government, Nigerians, I've never seen a country in my life where, the citizens don't hold the government accountable for anything. Like, Nigerians are the least people to hold their government accountable for anything. I saw a video today where Bart was saying, "Oh, I've done my best. I'm trying to restructure the country. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this." You hold your governors and your local government, whatever, councillors or chairman accountable as well. And that makes sense to me. Because everybody is shouting, Tinubu, 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 but it's not only federal. There are state levels and there are local government levels. So let's take Lagos for an example, and you live in Lagos, so you understand what I'm saying. There is the island and there's the mainland. Yep. The island and the mainland are like two different countries, true of us.
True.
Because I come to the mainland where the airport is, where you come down in Ikeja, and then you go around the environment in the mainland, and what you see will blow you away. The roads, most of the roads in the main roads are good, but when you get to the interior areas and all the streets, most of the roads are very bad. And again, these gutters, there's a lot of gutters that are not covered. So I think a lot of people who live in the mainland are so used to all these gutters, they don't even see it anymore. These are breeding grounds for mosquitoes. People throw parties on top of those gutters. They eat on top of it. They live. They are so used to it. But when you are coming from the outside, that smell will hit you. So what people are saying, why are you saying Lagos smell? The mainland stinks. It does. But again, when you get to the part of the middle class, from the Lekki, the Victoria Island, the Ikoyi, it's like a different Lagos. It's cleaner, the air is fresher, it's greener, there's no smell. It's like more organized, and I'm like, is this the same Lagos? So you've seen it yourself, A lot of people who live in the mainland don't go to the island. The people that live in the island don't go to the mainland. It's so different. How come in the same states?
Well, the truth is that even the island itself, the place they call the island, if you come into Lagos, if you are not a proper Lagosian, you will not see the whole of the island. If you come to TBS, for instance, Tafawa Balewa Square, that's part of the island. If you go into TBS and then you move into Obalende and all of those areas, you see a lot of stinking areas as well. You see a lot of places that would amaze you. You would scream and shout, But I don't know. You see, like you rightly said when you started the intro, our people, we like to deceive ourselves so much.
Yes, too much.
We should not say that everything in this country is bad. No, this is a blessed country. That's true. This is one of the most blessed nations.
Nigeria is too blessed.
Yes.
Nigeria is too blessed.
The second country that is more blessed than Nigeria. But the truth is that, are we making it work? No. And the thing is, some people tell you, oh, it's the most beautiful place to live in. Yes. If you are doing business and your business is going for you, awesome. You will say it's the most beautiful place to live in. But the truth is that a whole lot of people are doing a whole lot of crime and a whole lot of things that, are not normal in saner climes. And if you are doing anything that is not normal in this climate, and you are saying, oh, it's the most beautiful place to live in, then what are we talking about? So, like we said, it's the values that you hold. If you work for government, for instance, and you work in an institution where you can mint money every day from people, you can make money through collecting bribes and kickbacks, and you do that every day, of course, you will clap and celebrate that the place is beautiful. But if you are the kind of person who works in a place and you believe that you should not take 1 naira from anybody, do what you need to do and do your job, of course, you would not say that it is beautiful, because every day you are confronted with all of this, and it's so difficult that everyone around you believe that you are insane, or something is wrong with you. because you think that it's not right. They say, somebody gives you money out of their own volition. Come on. There's a difference between I willingly come into a restaurant and I eat the food and I'm so excited about the food and I say, I give you some money. Then I come into your office, you already premeditate that this guy is going to give you money. So you attend to him appropriately well so that he will give you money.
Yeah.
And then you bend some rules and then you break some corners. And then he gives you money at the end of the day. You say he's giving it to you free willing. It's not free willing. It's a price to pay.
That's when they talk about the Nigerian factor. There's something they call the Nigerian factor. Junior, I'm coming to you in a minute, please. So sorry, this conversation is so broad. So I observe. I've known this always that Nigerians, the average Nigerian, will judge you based on your appearance. Yeah. How you look, the kind of clothes you wear, and since I came, I've just been observing the way people dress in this country. I'm like, oh my God, the women are so, especially women. Hey, they look, it's all about packaging. Everybody looks so, because they will tell you if you don't package yourself where you don't, anywhere you go, they will look at you from head to toe, from the person that is opening the gate. They will assess you. They will look at the car you are driving. They'll look at, what you are wearing. They will look at your skin. If you're a woman, they'll look at your hair and your makeup or whatever before they can determine whether you are worth their time or not. Which is something that is quite sad, but it is what it is. But let's go to Junior. Hi, Junior. Please unmute yourself. You have Japada and you are loving Nigeria. You say US is not for you. You told us on the show repeatedly.
Right. So there are different sides to the way I look at this, right? From my experience, people that really have a problem with Nigeria that are in the diaspora are people that had a lot of bad experiences in Nigeria while they were here, which is understandable. It's like the last memory you had in maybe a past relationship you had. You don't want to go back to that relationship. That's the way I see it, right? Nigeria is a relationship you had. You had a lot of trauma when you were in Nigeria. You had a lot of bad experiences. There was a lot of suffering, and then you got a visa and you moved abroad. In my opinion, that's about 80% of people that have jackpot to the abroad. I would say, especially in the past, maybe like 30 years, 25, 30 years. Before that, it was a lot of our parents that went overseas for school and came back. But in the recent years, that's just what I've kind of been seeing, right? So when you tell people that you move to Nigeria, 80% of the people, I'm making these numbers up. This is not a statistic or anything like that. So most of these people, they don't understand how you've been able to go back to Nigeria and make it work. Okay, that's one. The second part of that is they don't understand how you made it work because of their past experiences and what they've seen on how Nigeria is supposed to look like or experience it. So remember, I was telling you the other day when we were having breakfast that there's some places in Nigeria where you have 24/7 power from NEPA.
Yes, you did. That's what I wanted to talk about as well. This banding, is it banding they call it? Where you have band. Yeah,
right.
They put people in band.
Right. And remember I showed you an email from NEPA. This is from the government.
This same Nigeria. NEPA will email you.
Yeah, the NEPA, if there's a flick in your light, the same NEPA is going to email you and let you know why they're taking the light and when the light is going to be back, which is the same as South Africa. South Africa has the same system when it comes to communication of power supply. So that's just a quick summary of where this conversation is probably going to go. Like I said, a recap, they're the people that left Nigeria, had bad experiences in Nigeria. I'm not necessarily talking about financial because that's a big part, right?
Yes.
But there's the emotional part.
Yes.
There's the emotional part. There's the trauma. For example, maybe women. Maybe there's some type of women's right. Maybe abuse, whatever the
Yeah.
case is a little bit
Yeah.
deeper
There's
than
security issues
financial.
as well. There's
Right,
health issues as well. It's a whole
right,
lot.
which
Mm-hmm.
all wraps into trauma, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
have those ones. I'm talking about in the past 25 to 30 years that left Nigeria, right? You have those
Mm-hmm.
trauma. Then you have the other side, right? You have the other side, which maybe they grew up in, Ikoyi or VI, they went to school, in the UK or in the US, they went to Harvard or Oxford. Their parents paid cash for those schools and they came back to run their parents' all company, right? So there are two parts to this Jack mine situation. Like I said, the higher percentage are the everyday Nigerians that had the trauma. And there's the other ones that flew first class to go to school in
Mm-hmm.
Harvard or
Yeah.
Oxford, right? So when you're speaking to people like that, you have two different experiences and the reasons why,
Perspective. Yeah.
right,
They just
why
catch.
one
Mm-hmm.
doesn't want to come back and why one is going back. Because the one
Yeah.
going back already has a job at that is all the senators and politicians. That's what happens. A lot of the kids come back. A
Yeah.
lot of the wealthy kids actually come back. A lot
Yeah.
of the
Because
poor kids,
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of the poor kids have to stay abroad because they're sponsoring
The
their
families.
siblings.
It's a black tax.
They're
Yes.
yeah
Mm-hmm.
they're paying their parents their parents retirement plan. They have to build a house for their parents in the east or in the west or wherever. So there's a lot of when you go around and you talk to people, you understand the different perspectives. I'm gonna give
Yeah.
you the third one. The third one that a lot of us don't talk about. I spend a lot of time in the north, right? I go to the north
Mm-hmm.
a lot. I actually like the
Right.
north. I actually like the north the most in Nigeria.
Right.
When you spend time in the north, do you know there's not a lot of northern people that actually Japa? Think about it. How
Yes.
many northern?
Absolutely.
How many?
Yes.
I'm not talking about poor
Yes.
northerners. I'm talking about
Yes.
average everyday northerner. Think about it.
Yes.
An average everyday northerner. How many of them have you seen in the UK, the US,
No.
Canada?
No.
It doesn't
No. I
happen.
think the Northerners are the least people to Japa in this country.
Right, right. So when you're thinking about Jackmine and you're thinking about Nigeria, you need to understand the country. You need to understand the traumas. You need to understand the success. You need to understand the opportunities. You need to understand the different sides of Nigeria. So that's that for that. I'm gonna give you the last point. Now, the last point is a lot of people that are abroad, right? That really want to come back. The same thing Uncle was talking about there. I talked to a lot of people that they hated Nigeria. They just hated it. And then now they're in Canada. I was speaking to actually a friend. He's in Canada. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm living in Nigeria, showed him my life, showed him how I operate. He's like, man, oh man, I really wish I could move back. But I'm
Yeah.
stuck. But
Yeah.
I'm stuck in Canada. Can you show
Yeah.
me how I can come back? Can you
How I
show
can
me how I
come
can
back.
live?
Yeah.
How can I
Yeah.
live? Because they can never understand how they can come back. Remember,
Yeah.
they left that trauma. There was no light. There was no running water. They're trying
Mm-hmm.
to process how they can have what they have in Canada, in Nigeria. So that's where the whole circle of the negative, vibes from I don't want to go back to Nigeria. On the other side, the positive side where somebody leaves Oxford or Harvard and go back and find a job, and you have to kind of stay in Canada, UK, wherever you are, to keep sending money back home. So that's just
Yeah.
a full circle of the situation. So we can kind of pick on each one and talk about it a little bit more to better understand.
So thank you so much, Junior. I want to, before I come back to the good luck mentor, you have successfully cackbad because you were abroad and that you are back. And you
Right,
told me that you don't see yourself, you only visit, and when you visit, you're counting your days to come back.
right,
You
right,
come back because you are happy here. You
right.
cackbad successfully.
Now,
So
key
these are
point.
the things. Hmm?
Sorry, two key points. Number
Yeah,
one, I never Japad. I was born abroad, so I have a different
yeah,
perspective and view of Nigeria.
yeah,
Number
yeah,
two, number two, um, me living in Nigeria doesn't mean that I don't, and we share that when we're having breakfast. Doesn't mean I'm ignoring the struggles and the pain, and some of them even affects me on a daily basis in Nigeria.
Yeah, of
I just
course.
choose
Absolutely.
I choose the good and bad and figure out which one I want to deal with. Would I rather deal with winter in the north of the in the U.S. and the racism and everything, or do I want to feel like I'm a king in my own country and deal with the bad roads and the smell and all that? So it's just it's a choice.
It's a
So I just have
choice.
to,
It's a choice.
yeah.
Yeah. You have the opportunity to live in the US and you chose to live in Nigeria. So what the information I want to, because honestly, let me tell you the truth. There are a lot of people who lived abroad for a long time. I don't know about other people, but for me, it never feels like home. It never.
True.
Good luck,
True.
mentor. You're nodding your head. Do you agree with me?
I mean, it can never feel like home. That's the truth.
It never feels like
It can
home.
never feel like home.
And
We
and
enjoy.
and I'm gonna recap again, guys. Remember, I was born abroad. I never felt like that was my home. Never.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never.
So a lot of people who are listening to this are going to probably listen. That's why I brought both of you are intelligent men. You've seen it all, highly educated men, and that's why I brought you so that this information is very crucial. And our videos are watched by a lot of people, both home and abroad. So thank you very much. So a lot of people listening to this will be thinking, oh, I remember one uncle that called into the show once upon a time, and it was like, you know what? Obodoyibo, I built my house in Nigeria and I say I'm going to retire in Nigeria, but Nigeria is deteriorating every day. What am I going to do now? I don't have any, plans to retire in the US. So I want to retire and come back to Nigeria. So let's talk about, for people with this mindset, because this is my mindset as well. Yeah. What should they be considering? And there's a lot of reasons why people fail with this, so-called kakpa. There are a lot of reasons because we've heard stories about people that will work and save, do everything, build their houses. They bring home $100,000, whatever. They set up businesses. They come back, and 1 year later, boom, they are back to square one and picking up to go back.
So let me throw in a few points there, right? What I've noticed is, and I've, like I said, I've spent time with a lot of people. I spend most of my time with all the diasporans who are here in Nigeria.
You're going to add me to that group, Junior. Don't forget.
Oh, I will. I will. So one of the things I've noticed is even us, the kids that were born abroad, we come home every year. Just process this. We come home every single year. I used to come to Nigeria like 3 times a year sometimes.
Yeah.
So I know Nigeria more than somebody that's been stuck in the US for 25 years. Because I'm here. I get out of the airport, I take an Uber, and I'm good to go. So when you really think about it, a lot of people that maybe they built a home in Nigeria, there's a lot of factors. Number one, where did you build a home? That's number one. Mm-hmm. Number two, how did you build the home? Number 3, when was the last time you were in Nigeria? Now we have the argument of, well, they didn't have papers, Well, that's a whole different conversation, and there's also solutions to that, right? But if you're sending money home, I wouldn't send money to the US to have somebody build me a home. I wouldn't. So why would you send money to Nigeria to have somebody build your home? That's that. Another thing I've noticed, especially this past weekend, I was speaking to a lot of elders, and these are people in their 80s, that have lived abroad, moved back to Nigeria, and I was asking a particular couple. The wife is 70 years old, the husband is 75 years old. They lived in the UK, I think Manchester, for a very long time. And I was asking them, why did they wait to build a home now? And the man made a point. The husband, he told me, he said, number one, we wanted to be retired and be in Nigeria when we were building our home.
Right.
So we can design the home to what we want and what we were used to in Manchester. He said, number two, we wanted to build a home so that way it's updated to now, not 20 years ago when we were planning to retire. We knew we were going to move to Nigeria, but we wanted to wait. And then we wanted to wait to have, properties for our children in the UK before we left the UK. I was like, man, I didn't even think about that one. So they have investments in the UK that are currently renting out as, collecting rent, right?
For income.
But
Yeah, that's bringing some income. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So they're going to eventually give that to their kids. It was really cool hanging out with these old folks.
Yeah.
And so they're going to eventually will it out to their kids when they die, right? Oh, sorry, when they buy. So I was processing. I'm like, man, that's genius. They didn't stay in the UK sending money to their brother in the village somewhere to build
a house. Yeah. They prepared for the retirement. Yeah.
It would never happen. Would you leave your retirement 401k or your retirement funding? Would you leave it with someone in your village? Would you leave it with someone in the UK, with some random person in the UK? You wouldn't. Why would you do that? So when you hear about people saying, "Oh, I went back to Nigeria and I had to Japada," well, the question is, what was your plan? Did you have a plan?
Yeah.
Now remember,
that's a really good point.
Remember, I'm not talking about people without papers. I'm talking about people with papers, because that's a whole different conversation. So what was your plan? Did you have a plan? Why do you want to move to Nigeria? Let's start with that. Why do you want to move to Nigeria? Do you have a good reason why you want to move to Nigeria? And another thing too, this is something I was thinking about too. If you plan to retire in Nigeria, I was thinking about this too. If you plan to retire in Nigeria, even if you plan to spend half of your years each year in Nigeria, make sure at least once a year, or once in 2 years, once in 3 years,
you come home. You have to be here.
Not just you, your children come home and know exactly where you're going to build your house, or where you're going to plan, or where you're going to settle down. Because if something happens to you in Nigeria, your kids should be able to get on a plane, get in an Uber, and go directly to where you are.
So, Junior, thank you very much for that point. So I told you I met a young lady in a store who relocated from Liverpool, and she was telling me about her experience. We were having a whole conversation in that store 2 days ago. And one of the things she mentioned that has helped her, because she has CACPAD successfully, she's come back and she says she's happy here. She's doing well. She's got a business, and she said her quality of life is better. One of the things that she said that stood out for me was that she said, you need to have a plan. You can't just live abroad 30 years and all of a sudden, because you built a house one place, and you just, up and you say, oh, I'm going to Nigeria. No, you need to have a plan that includes you coming. Maybe 2-3 times a year. Study, do your visibility study or whatever study. See what the economy is like. See what life is like. Before, in case for people who still want to be busy with business or whatever, because in Nigeria, one thing that is consistent is that you cannot live a good life without money. Money is very important in Nigeria, and there is no credit. Is there credit? Good Life Mentor. I don't know. Is there? Do we have credit in Nigeria? I don't know. In the abroad, you have your credit card. You can owe. Is that something you can rely on in Nigeria?
No, you can't rely on it. Just those who have money can owe. If you don't have money, you can't owe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the truth is, it was quite nice listening to Junior. You see, that's what I was saying, that this Japa thing is multifaceted. And when you say people coming back, like you said, I know of somebody that I think if I tell the story, you would remember her as well. I asked her a couple of years back. She's done very well in Canada, and I said, okay, so why are you not building a house in Nigeria? And then she said to me, no, I don't want to build one. Exactly what Junior just said. He said, if I build a house in Nigeria now, at the time I want to come back to Nigeria, that house might be too old, and the area that the house is might just be an area that I'm no longer interested in.
You're not interested in that area, yeah.
So she said to me, I'm using those monies to build those houses in Canada. So any day I finally decide that I want to retire to Nigeria, I will
Just
begin
sell
to take
one.
a journey
Just
around
sell
and
one.
come and see how the place is, and then decide on where is more comfortable at that point in time to live in.
Yeah.
So I'll go get a house. Instead, I'm going to look at one that is built, see if it meets my need, and then maybe do a little bit of pep here and there, and work on it, or build one in 1 month and then move into it. So of course, I think that there is a lesson to learn here for a lot of our people who are in the abroad, like you rightly said. Because a lot of people are running into problem with this issue of having to send money to their brother, send money to their sister to help them build a house. You built a house like 15 years ago, and 35 years after, you are coming to Nigeria to come and live in that house. Like Junior rightly said, that house might not be
It's
fit for
obsolete.
purpose.
It's obsolete.
Yeah. And then the area
the
where
worst
the
part.
house is built, life is moving in Lagos very fast.
Oh, it is moving. I mean, I made the example at the beginning of the show. Lagos is a very good example. It is in other cities as well.
And to be, do you remember 1004 flats?
Oh my God! Back in the day, that was that was the banana island of those days.
Yeah, but Lagos have gone beyond all of those places. If you see 1004 now, I mean, I'm sure you saw it. It's an eyesore. I mean, so you wouldn't believe this is the same 1004 that used to be talked about. So if somebody had bought an apartment there several years ago,
20 years ago,
20 years ago, let's even say 15 years ago, not even 20. To say 15 years ago, I bought a house there, I like the place. I would like to come back there someday. If they come there now, they can't even send their, kids to go and stay there. Then Junior talked about coming home every year. How many of our people are doing this? How many of our kids know this place? How many of them know where you are from? How many of them know where they are from? So one of the things that made it easy for Junior is the fact that he was always in tune with this country.
Yeah, with the country.
My kids talk about, staying in Nigeria someday, they think of coming here with their families, when there is an issue, when there's this, when there's that, they always talk about this. The reason why they talk about the place is because they know the country. They've been to the village several times. They've been to the country several times. They love the place. They deal with Nigeria every day. They were not born here. They've never really lived here, but they've always come here. So the fact that they've always come here gives them that sense of, in fact, they tell you most times,
belonging.
Belonging. They call themselves Nigerians.
And it gives them a sense of identity as well. The thing I've noticed about kids here, our kids abroad. I was telling someone yesterday. I said, if you ask my kids in the UK, where are you from? They will tell you I'm Nigerian. I've never seen them claim British, not once. They will just say I'm Nigerian. They identify so much with Nigeria, and they'll just tell you I'm Nigerian. So that sense of identity again is if we're talking about generation and our children and children's children and all that. That's very important for them to have that sense of identity where they come from.
Yeah, but a lot of people miss it. They miss it from the beginning, and then it becomes too late when the kids are already fully grown. My kids know all the dangerous things in Nigeria. I remember the last time they came in, they said, you can't go here, you can't go here. They don't like the fact that, you can't move freely. You can't just...
There's restriction.
You go everywhere, especially bearing the fact that, they are not, complete black. They are what we call Michelin or half caste or chocolate or whatever, or caramel, So, but even at that, the big one is doing a program in Jakarta right now. But in school, every day when there's a program, she's talking about Nigeria. She's doing discussions about Nigeria. She's representing Nigeria in all her, school work, university work and all that. And then she's coming back to ask questions about, my daughter is asking me about Shango, Orisha, and stuff like that in this country. I never really knew them. But because she's very used to this country and very used to tune, so she knows much more than some of the
She's curious. She's curious, so she's doing her homework. She wants to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have to be late. If the foundation is not there, you can't build on top of nothing.
Yeah. Junior, come in. Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, it's very important. If you have children, it's very important that I understand the diaspora is expensive and whatever. Even if it's every 2 years, minimum every 2 years. I have, I have nephews that are 26 and 25, and they're mixed. Like Uncle was saying, they're mixed. They can take an Uber from Muritala International Airport and come all the way to my house because they come so often, right? They even know more about Nigeria than I do because they read so much, especially my nephew. It shocks me. And like I say, it's mixed, right? He says things that I'm just like, dude, how do you even know these things? You know? So it's very important. If something happens, if you're in Nigeria and maybe you're a little bit elderly at that time, and your kids can fly and come to Nigeria, it's very important. You don't want to be old and then it's a relative that's coming to save you. You want to be able to have your kids, say, oh, go to that bank or go to this, and these things are important. They don't have to be in Nigeria, but the things with Nigerians is that once they leave Nigeria and they japa, they feel like they've japa to heaven, so they mentally, like I said, I understand there's trauma, whatever, but they mentally just kind of cross out Nigeria. And then they get a little bit older, they get a little bit lonely. These are facts. They get little bit lonely. The abroad is not your friend. The abroad is not your friend. Your friend might be living an hour away, 4 hours away. They're not coming to see you. In Nigeria, 20 people will be at your house.
Just pause. Let me interject. You said the abroad is not your friend. Let me say something that I saw in Abuja. Let me just tell you what happened a few days ago. When I arrived in Abuja, I went to my brother's house, and as we were about to go out, I said, my banking wahala that I've been moaning about. My brother came out of the house with his wife, and I saw one woman across the road in another house, across the road, and they were waving and shouting, Aja, how are you? How is the family? I haven't seen you for 3 days. I'm like, whoa. I was blown away. Across the road in the estate, they were waving at each other, shouting and just waving. She was standing in her balcony upstairs. We were downstairs, and they were having a full conversation. You don't know how I felt. I was like, my next door neighbor doesn't even talk to me. He will see me and nod his head and just run into his house like he didn't see me. And his stupid dog will be barking at me.
There was a time that I traveled. I went to the US and for a week, and I came back. A day later, my neighbor, and I live in a place where people mind their business, but even then, my neighbor was like, Uncle, it looks like you've not been around. Your lights are not on. There's birds going into your roof. You're like, what's going on? Next time you have to tell us, when you're not going to be around. I was scared. If this was maybe some other neighborhood, I'll probably be a little bit nervous. But they're actually telling me because they actually care. They want to know that I'm okay. Like, we need to know that you're okay. Like, what's going on with your house? Your lights are not on. There's stuff in
that's Nigeria for you. That's the beauty of Nigeria.
So that tells me that I'm gonna be okay. So this is some. If you ask me later on, why did I move to Nigeria? This is some of the 100 reasons why I moved.
That's the beauty of Nigeria. People say there's so much isolation in the abroad. There's loneliness. Even if you don't, this is not only for single people. Even when you are married, let's forget about the weather and the changes and all that. It's just like in Nigeria, there's this beauty of it. I drive with my friend, and she knows everybody in her street. Everybody. She'll stop, talk to this one. She'll stop, talk to this one. I'm like, how do you know all these people? Is this not where I live? People are actually like invested in other people. It might not be in a good way, but at least they talk to you. You see what I mean? Even that, having that conversation with people is important for our well-being. Obodooyinbo, the isolation is something that, I don't know. People say they get used to it. Hope is laughing that I say that the dog is always barking. It's true. The dog is always barking. One day, my sister and I were going to a party in summer, and we dressed in our African attire. This man came with his girlfriend, and the girlfriend was holding the dog. He will just look at you and shake his head so that he will not see him, because I'm always collecting his delivery for him. So he will just nod his head so that he will not do as if he didn't see me. The dog was barking. In my mind, I'm like, this dog, hi, Jesus is Lord. If I catch this dog, So I
So
mean, this is yeah.
I want to throw something here too. This is something else that could help diasporans as well. I was just thinking about this while you were talking. Um, and sometimes a lot of people like, yeah, finances are a problem. Some of the reasons why people don't come home often. But even if it's every 3 years, you buy stuff in the diaspora, you can save up $1,000 no matter what you're doing. Even if you're working at Primark, you can save that money and once every 3 years to go home. But a lot of people are nervous, right? They're scared when they go back home. Like, hey, am I going to be able to stay at my parents' house or my family member's house? I'm used to AC. You can always get an hotel and get an Airbnb to make yourself feel comfortable. And then you can take an Uber. I mean, if your family's in Ibadan, Lagos, Port Harcourt, the major cities, right? You can stay in a hotel. Nobody needs to know what you are. There's ways around if you're visiting. Obviously, if you're from a small town, I can't really help you with that. But if you're from a major city like Benin and Port Harcourt, Abuja, all this thing, you can find an Airbnb or an hotel to stay in and be comfortable while you're visiting your relatives. Or you can have your family member, if they're from a smaller town, come to the big city that's close to them, and you can stay there and still see them, right? You don't have to. No, not everyone needs to know you're in Nigeria. If that's your fear, right? But what I'm trying to say is that you need to be in Nigeria. I don't care what's going on with you. Once again, unless it's some type of papers, immigration stuff. But if you are allowed to travel overseas, you need to be able to go to Nigeria at least once every 2-3 years. You have to. You
Yeah,
have to. You don't want to feel like a
sorry,
stranger.
Junior, let me interject there a little. You see, one of the things too, I want to write on that what you just said, and I want to at this point actually advise some of the people. One of the problems too that they have is fear of how do I come and impress people. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible mentality that we have. I used to tell people I do a lot of traveling. It got to a point where I tell myself, okay, I am not traveling because I want to buy stuff for the whole world. I mean, I remember way back when I just went to the abroad, I used to come to Nigeria, I'll come with like 100 and 200 kilogram of stuff, bring stuff for this and that.
Yes,
But the
you used to
moment,
distribute from
yes,
Lagos to the village.
exactly. But the moment I decided that, I now, shot to properly between these places, I just made up my mind that, look, forget about that. Just take your bag, buy your ticket, enter the plane, come down to Lagos, go to one. You don't need to stay in Royal Palace. We always have this problem that, I mean, I remember way back, even when I used to work in Frankfurt and all of those places. When we do official travels, we go to Singapore, anywhere around the world. We don't go and stay in the most exclusive and expensive hotel in those places. We go to top hotels to go and stay, decent, nice looking. In the middle, Ibis Hotel is one of the places we used to stay because Ibis is in the center of the town. So you are like 1 kilometer away from everything that you want to see, that you want to, the adventures that you want to do and all that. But, one of the problems that our people have is they want to, I don't know how to put that, how to communicate that, but I know a lot of friends that are suffering from that. You're struggling, you want to come looking all what you are not and all that. You don't need it. You don't need all of that. And that is hampering a lot of them from coming down to this country. I mean, if you don't come and do, like you said, not everyone needs to know that you are here. If you don't come and advertise yourself all over the place that you are here, then, even some of the dangerous things that you are scared of will not even happen to you. You just come in quietly, do your thing, and then go to your village, see the people that you need to see. You don't need to impress anybody. That's if you can get to the village, though, because, of
And
course, there are areas in the country where traveling by road is extremely, difficult. You have to understand how those roads work. That's the truth.
and
So
also
you
I'm gonna add some icing on the cake to what you just said.
yeah.
Like I said in the beginning, when I was moving to Nigeria, I knew what I was going to be facing. I was ready. I was ready for it, right? But living in Nigeria now for a few years, people in the diaspora get more bad news about Nigeria than I do, and I live here.
Yeah,
I agree
yeah,
with you.
I
please,
Yeah, that's
sometimes
absolutely.
sometimes when Nigeria says stuff, I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I live here, so that's why you have to come home You don't have to
Yeah.
move to Nigeria tomorrow. You don't have to move to Nigeria yesterday, but you have to come home. The more you come
Yeah.
home, the more
Mm-hmm.
reduced all that nonsense that you're hearing is. For example, with you hear a lot about a lot of people talking about people snatching people. I don't want to use that word on this platform.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like people snatching people. Snatching people has reduced, but you still
Yeah.
have a lot
It
of people in
has.
diaspora singing about, oh, if you go on every highway, yeah, there's some highways, there's some
It's
particular
always the
highways that
bad news that trend. Yeah, bad
right,
news trend. Yeah.
there's
Mm-hmm.
some particular highways that I wouldn't go on. You should know that those highways are well known. Abuja,
Exactly.
Kaduna,
Yeah.
and some places from Lagos to the east. They're not. It's just not complicated. We know these places. Just don't
Exactly.
go.
Just don't
Take a
go. Stay away from
flight.
them. Yeah.
Catch a flight. There's ways around it. I live here. I speak like most of you guys abroad. So nobody's looking at me like I live here. They're treating me like they're treating you. So you catch a flight. If you want to go somewhere, you catch a flight. There's some road that you can, ply on. But the longer you stay in that abroad, the more scared that you're gonna be when you come home. The more you
Yeah,
come home,
absolutely.
the more
Mm-hmm.
confident you are, and the more you can plan for whatever you want to plan. Even if you decide not to move back anytime soon, but at least you have that option, and your mind is a little bit open, and you can operate a little bit better on what the next steps are. And you have options that Canada, US, UK is not your only option. You can take 2 months off, maybe taking a contract role and taking a month off, maybe in the holidays. You bring your kids for 2 weeks. You're more confident. Your kids don't have to go to your great grandmother's house in Abakaliki or
Not
wherever.
at all.
You can,
Not at
you
all.
can
That's
put them
correct.
in an affordable hotel. Let them experience Nigeria. Let them experience all these nice cities. They're nice things for them to do, you know? So that way, when they go back, all they have is positive things about Nigeria, because you had bad experiences in Nigeria. Doesn't mean your kids need to hear the song of how negative Nigeria is. There's a lot of positive things that are going on here right now. So if white people can survive in Nigeria, I don't think you are even on the list. So that's just my add-on to what Uncle was saying there.
Okay, thank you very much. I've got Natu. Natu, yeah, welcome, my darling. What do you want to say? Unmute yourself, darling. Hi, Natu. Are you there? We can't hear you. Okay. I'm going to take the minute. Since Natu is taking time to join, let's take a commercial break.
Do you want to smell good on a budget without breaking the bank? Well, I got good news for you. My name is Natu, and I am the founder of Colisa. This is your one-stop shop for everything perfume oils. We have perfume oil inspired by your favorite brand names: Tom Ford, Xerjoff, Dior, Perfume de Malay, MFK, just to mention a few. I have a couple of perfumes here outlined that we have inspired by your favorite, but I'm going to tell you about the most talked about, which is Oud for Greatness and African Charm. So Oud for Greatness is inspired by Initio Oud for Greatness. And let me tell you, this is class act in a bottle. You will love everything about this. This has a very subtle smell, subtle scent. It gives you like an elegance. It's not too loud. It's oody, like not crazy oody, but a subtle kind of oody. But it exudes like class. And then African Charm. This is curated by me. I don't care where you go to, you never find African Charm anywhere because I curated this. This is Little Miss Feisty. She is sweet and spicy. And let me tell you, this will leave everybody asking you what you're wearing. I have never had a day that I wore African charm. I go anywhere and I don't get people asking me what I'm wearing. And I've never had anyone that has bought this bottle and not be captivated by it. So for this Black Friday, I have some new scents lined up. These are my new scents. Spice Up. It's a girly scent. Sensual Symphony is unisex. Freaking Fabulous is inspired by Tom Ford, effing Fabulous, and Badass. If you love Mason Frangie Courage, Baccarat's Extrait, you're going to love Badass. So these are like the new things that I have for you. Listen, Spice Up is going to leave you with a hickey. I don't care. Don't wear this going close to anybody's man if it's not your man. I'm just warning you. But for Black Friday, I'm introducing the new 30 ml bottles. So our package is going to come up wrapped up like this. This is a perfect gift that you can gift anyone for this holiday. You can gift your co-workers. So I'm going to show you the 30 ml bottles. The 30 ml bottles are for the holiday only. It's just limited edition. You can buy 4 of this for $100. But all our perfume oils are going to be 25% off. And if you're a member of the Obodo Farm, you get extra 10% off using the promo code Obodo Farm. And the 25% discount, you don't need no code. And you're going to get free shipping if you order over $75 if you're within America. But if you're ordering international, Canada, Europe, you get free shipping if you order over 120. And you know, as I do it, I always put some extra ups in it. But let me tell you, all these things are some things that you're going to love. And people that have used it have testament to it. And you can follow us on social media, Kwalisa Inc., Facebook and Instagram. And then you can go to our website and order as soon as possible. It's the fastest fingers at www.kwalisainc.us, kwalisainc.us. And you only need to use the promo code ObodoFarm to get the extra 10% off. But the 20% off automatically applies no matter the amount that you're buying. I don't want you to tell me later that you didn't get to buy, because once it's sold out and we restock, it's going back to the original price. So don't be left behind. Hurry up while supply lasts. And I'm going to say to you, happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, guys, sorry about that. Welcome back. Natu, can we hear you now? You guys, Kwalisa is having, she's having sales. Yeah, there's a Black Friday sale. So jump to kwalisa.inc and get yours. You know, she does all these amazing scents that are so wonderful. Natu, what's going on with you? Are you there? Okay, you're back. I thought you were in the studio already.
Yeah, it was my laptop.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. Please give
Can
us
you
a
hear me
thumbs
now?
up. Natu, can you hear me? Yes, I'm
Yeah,
hearing
I
you
can
now.
hear you.
Welcome. Okay.
I can hear you. So
All
I just want
right.
to say something real quick, right? I think JR's contribution was like spot on. Both contributors, their views are very, very spot on. And I think a lot of people stay too long before they go home, and then when they go, they want to impress because of how long they've stayed back. Like for me, I'm
Yeah.
very notorious of known of being showing up in Nigeria without anything. I can be nice and stop at the airport and buy chocolate. But I've passed the stage because I go once or twice a year. So I've passed the stage of like I have to take something for somebody. I don't have to. So if you're able to give yourself that mentality, you stop stressing yourself
No, it's not
on spending too much money. When I told somebody I can go to Nigeria and spend less than $500 in a month, he said, "How?" I said, "It's because you want to show up now. I don't have anything to show up. Where people are going to go and buy expensive, I will just go and drink fura or go mama put chop and and go home and sleep." Do you understand? So I think this is the idea that people have, that if I go, I have to go and show, I'm coming from America. People have to know I come. People don't have to know. You really don't have to show anyone. And that's people who are putting themselves in debt if they are going home. And then the first contributor was saying that people need to make themselves familiar with going home once in a while. You understand what I'm saying? To be able to like you go twice. You've gone twice this year already now, Abby. So it helps you a lot if you thinking of like, okay, I want to move back. Like now, if I have to move back, I don't have any problem moving back, honestly speaking. But because people are not familiarizing themselves, they go, now I can't live with that. Like when I went, there was this national grid issue. There was no light for 10 days. So sometimes we on just and I'm like, leave the jet, I beg, let's go outside and play Ludo. Or let's go outside and gist. It's not light every
Yeah.
time. But people will be
Yeah.
having that mentality, I can't do this, I can't live without light. You will live without light. Stop that thing. Stop that rubbish.
So you take the good with the
Yes.
bad, whether you like it or
Yes.
not. It's
I
all
went and spent
Johnny.
1 month now. I went to Kafancha.
You spent 1 month?
Yes.
Oh,
I spent the
wow.
whole month. I went to Kafancha and came back. I went to Lafayette, Abuja, Kaduna. I applied all those routes. It's not that people are not, but nothing happened. I was good. So sometimes we just, those people always, like you said, it's the bad news that thrive faster. And that's the issue in Nigeria. The good news don't thrive that much.
Now, too, if I may add as well, you're really making a point, because when you travel like that and actually see how things are kind of going, the good and bad, it helps you when you decide, let's say you want to retire in the next 10 years, 20 years. It helps you know exactly how to
Yes.
design your move.
Yes. 100%.
Remember, I said I came to Nigeria 3 times a year. I knew about NEPA. I knew I needed to put solar panels on my house. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I knew what I needed to do because I spent so much time here. Yeah, you come, you go back, you come and you go back. If you can't afford it every year, every 3 years, you should be able to afford it. And if you're blessed and you can take your kids, very important, take your kids. Once every 3 years, let them know where Lagos is. They don't need to know Abuja. They don't need to know where your village is in Plateau State. But just following up with what Natu said, when there's no light, then okay, maybe I need solar. I need solar panels. I need these solutions. Oh, maybe I can start a business doing this. Maybe I can make money doing that. It helps you. It just helps you formulate what you want to do. So.
Junior, are you there? Okay, good luck, mentor.
Nigeria is
We're
happening to
running up
Junior.
now.
Yes, I'm still here.
The good love mentor. I'm interested in knowing that, because you've been there, done that. You're wearing the t-shirt, and like a lot of people said in the comment sections, a lot of people that come home, when they come to Nigeria after a few years, you see them saying they want to, Japada, and you are in that category now. Why?
Yeah, but the thing is, when you mean Japada, me and you had this conversation the other day. It depends on what you are doing and your perspective. Like I said to you, home is home and this is home. So I'm taking a break to go do some other things, but this is home. This is where retirement is. This is where we all want to stay. Because I mean, you don't want to be. Yeah. So. Because I have the opportunity and the leverage to step in and step out at any point when I want. So that's a totally different ball game. But of course, but this has been the same thing for me from day one, actually. Because now, of course, even when I just had the normal stay before I got the Bali out there, even at then when I was still a student, I used to come home almost every year. So it's something that I built from beginning. So I've never been really completely away from this place. And that's why, I mean, you're one of those who used to ask me, how can you just go and stay in Nigeria?
I used to say, how come other people don't come home? You are the one that's always coming home.
Yes. And then you'll be saying, how come you just come and stay in Nigeria like this? You remember my elder brother that I begged him to leave this place and, because of his family, moved them to Canada. Today, he's the one that is always asking me, how you did stay this Nigeria self? But
how did they cope?
The last time he came to Abuja, he came to the house in Abuja and he said, wow, okay, I think that Abuja is a place to come to. Now, I think I can come to Abuja, then maybe just...
No, Abuja, I beg. Junior loves Lagos, I beg. Me, I don't want to hear. Abuja is the place. It's the closest to the abroad, as far as I'm concerned.
The thing is this, it depends on, you see, like I said earlier on, it depends on what people want, what you hold as values. I live in Lekki, for instance. And when I hear people say, I tell people Lekki is a hype. I mean, how many percentage of the people living around here can live in those very, very secluded estates where you have pim. But the truth is, the pim itself, you won't fly in there with an helicopter.
What's pim? I don't know what's pim.
where you have like the electricity 24/7, you have like, you know, the whole street truly made in those estates. There are some estates
Where you
go
have
into.
the abroad treatment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there are some estates you go into here. From as you step in, you don't believe that you are still in Nigeria. I mean, there are some of them around this place, but the
Auntie
truth
B,
is
remember
that,
I was telling you about that.
but the truth is that, you know, for me, you know, my kind of person, what I believe in is collective responsibility to make this place work, not make some little places work. Because if you leave your office, my office is in TBS. To get to my house, sometimes you get stuck in the traffic. Because I wanted to be on this show and I didn't want to stay in the office, I had to leave the office by 4 p.m. And I got
Oh,
stuck in one
bless
traffic.
you.
You know, Freedom Way, don't hold me on Freedom Way, don't hold me on Freedom Way. And, you know, luckily I was able to make it. So your estate where you live, no matter how tech it is, it will not stop the traffic on Freedom Way from holding you to getting to your estate. So you won't fly around. So anyway we look at it, it is still very important and imperative that, you know, we put our hands together, put our mouth together to agree that we need to make this place work. This is the most beautiful place on earth. You know, sometimes I feel like crying. Why can't we just make
Yeah.
Nigeria? Me, I love this place.
Yeah.
I love Nigeria.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. It can't be
You
anywhere
know,
like this.
I was telling you the other day that I am at a point now where I feel like the actress Omoni Oboli said it first, and I connected with it immediately because that's the way I feel about Nigeria. I mean, Omoni said I'm in an abusive relationship with Nigeria.
No, there are so many,
That's how Nigeria feels.
Auntie B, there are so many of us like that are in abusive.
Yeah, it's an abusive relationship because you love Nigeria, but Nigeria will abuse you at some point.
Yes, you know, I took a
Yeah.
break, you know, and in the last 10 years, frankly speaking, a couple of years, I've contributed so immensely to building a particular area of this country, and I'm so glad and I'm so fulfilled.
You're proud,
you know, and
yeah.
the beautiful thing is that my children are so proud of everything that I've done, you know, in this place, you know, the contribution that I've made to nation building. You know, for me, it's just amazing to be able to do this. So what is fulfillment for you? I feel fulfilled, you know, if I go back and I retire now, I have done one bit that I will say, okay.
At least you've done something that makes you feel good.
Yeah, we made this place work. Life is not just about, you know,
acquiring money.
Of course, we all want to grow old. When you are old, let me tell you, I remember when Junior was talking. There is a friend of mine, you know, there's one very popular designer in Lagos. He's called Moody. He's from he's from Delta, you know, and he's a very good guy. You know, one morning I was with him in the morning. We're having this Saturday morning chat, and somebody came in, and while we're talking, he happens to be from my part of the country, and his father was an ambassador. He's retired and he's back here. So, and then the father now was giving us a tip that, look, you guys that are abroad or wherever you are that are beginning to prepare for retirement, why don't you look for quiet places like Badagry, you know, or some of these suburbs, and just take those of you that like nature, take an estate, a piece of land, and then build small houses next to one another, you know, so that when you retire and then you eventually come back home, you can have something that looks like a natural environment that is not overcrowded, that is not the center and the top of the city, but you can walk down to the sea, to the beach that is at the back of your house, and then you have your friends next to you. He said when they were building houses, they came to Lagos. So some of them built in Lekki, some of them built in Abraham Adesanya, some built in VI, and then some built in Magodo. That today, now that they are all very old, sometimes when he sits down to think of what it takes to go to Magodo to see his friend, they now start to ask themselves, why did they ever not think that when they get old, they will not have the luxury of power to run around like this? But that if the houses were next to each other, that they would have been able to, every evening, they just come back, sit down, walk and greet each other and gist, you know. So that's something that, you know, me and a couple of people are discussing right now as well.
Thank you so much. Good love, mentor. Junior, yeah, you are happy, you're settled in Nigeria, and like you said to me when we had breakfast, it's not to say that you don't have the issues. There's nowhere in the world you live that you don't have issues. I think, you know, we Nigerians especially have some unrealistic expectations when it comes to this, you know, coming back to living in Nigeria. I know people who have come back here, they jackpot and they came back, and they will not for any reason go back. So I mean, what I'm hearing is about planning. People don't make enough preparations and they don't make enough research and plan when they want to kapa. So you see someone that just build a house, mostly they just build this house. And you know, I feel about how you just build this house and you have maybe some savings and you think, oh, I'm going to do this business. Like you said, they've not researched. They don't know what the market is. They don't look at the risk factors and everything. And you just think that, okay, I'm going to come back now. I'm sorted with this amount of money, with this business. And then because they haven't really done their homework. After a few years.
Let me interject a little. You see, that's a whole another bottle entirely, you know, because you see, the thing is this. I used to tell people, because I work with old people, you know, people that, you know, are retired, and I say to them, I say to a lot of people today, I say, look, the best time to plan for retirement is 10 years before retirement, minimum. You know, you would have
fantastic.
If you want to do a business, if you want to do a business,
that's a good one.
You have to start doing that business 10 years, if possible, before you retire. You would have mastered it, would have started to run before you retire. The mistake that a lot of our people make is that you would have gathered all the money, you put it together, you have $500,000, $1 million, and then you lose everything. Build a big house somewhere in Nigeria. Like Junior said, Nigeria that you don't know. Nigeria that you have not been visiting. You don't know how to make your way around this place. And then you just come, you just build house in the middle of one place.
And then you now come and be speaking the language. You be
You open a factory down the road, my dear. Nigeria will show you Nigeria. If Nigeria happens to you, Nigeria
will happen to you.
If I may add, I think that as Nigerians, we focus so much about the negatives of Nigeria. But these principles are the same principles that I don't know about you guys, that I would use if I was moving to Cyprus, if I was moving to Australia. You do your research.
Yeah.
Do you just pack your bags and do you just wake up one morning and take a flight to Greece and just start building a house? You have to go there multiple times to understand which neighborhood to go, why you should be in that neighborhood, how much land is here, is there taxes, is it freehold, you have to do your research. You don't just call your brother in Turkey and start building a house in some random neighborhood. So I agree with what Uncle is saying. You know, you have to plan. Starting with visiting. See, I'm not even at building a house in Nigeria yet. I'm not even at, you move to Nigeria yet. I'm about you visiting. When you visit, then you know exactly what you need to do from your visits. You know it. While you're on that plane back to the UK, you're sitting there on that 5-hour flight and you start processing your whole trip because you know what's best for you. You just pack your bags. And another thing too, following up on what Uncle is talking about, I don't understand. Remember I told you in the beginning of the call of the show that I spent time with this elderly couple. And one of the things the elderly couple, I was actually in their house, and man, I think I was with you the morning I was traveling to that location.
Yes.
And I got to the house. I'm like, man, you could pick this house up from somewhere in Leeds or something in the UK. This house looks like it's from the UK. Like it's designed like you are literally in the UK. It has a garden. It's an acre land. There's a small farm.
No, but when it comes to architecture, Junior, come on now. There are better houses in Nigeria than in the UK. You know that.
No, it's not the architecture.
No, it's not the layout. It's the feel.
It's the layout. They did it to their tastes. Yeah.
Something that would have been like I was in UK.
I felt like I was in the UK. The layout, the windows.
Yeah.
And another thing that they were talking about, because they have a kid. Their son is in his 40s, is in Manchester, and they have another kid in London, and all their kids are in the 40s and the early 40s and late 40s, and they have 3 bedrooms in this 1 acre land. And I'm like, why did you build a small house? They were like, well, number one, our grandkids are not really going to be here every day. If they're here, they can all share a room. If we need an extra place, we get an hotel. They have a whole plan, right? But one of the key things they talked about that I definitely brought back to Lagos. I just started processing. They actually built a bunch of dorms for students for the university around. And Sister B, you know what I'm talking about. They built dorms because the dorms in the university is not big enough to contain, like, to kind of accommodate all the students that are attending the school. So they built a bunch of dorms. So they're making money. They're making pounds in the retirement, but they're also making naira from the dorms that they built. So I'm sitting there like, wow. So what they did was, 5 years before they retired, they started buying land. They bought a bunch of land. And one of the land that they bought was, they built the dorm first before they actually built their house. They finished the dorms, rented everything out, and then they started building their house. So not only are they getting a retirement from the UK, they're also getting money from their small business they're doing in Nigeria. And one of the things the man told me was, they don't even touch their pounds. They don't even need to touch their pounds, because they've invested a lot of money into, which is not a lot of money when you're coming from the UK, into the dorm. So I'm just like, man, that's another plan. So when you come home every year, you have your answers. You know exactly what you need to do. So that's another takeaway. You don't have to build a big mansion. You don't have to build a house 20 years before you move. Just have a nice house that, you know, is good for you and your spouse, or you, or whatever.
Yeah.
And start planning.
This couple, the couple you're talking about, a junior, it sounds to me like they did their homework and they planned, and they were really very strategic about retiring to Nigeria.
They have a functional house, Auntie B.
Yeah, not just functional house. They sorted out that their income both here, because one of the things that someone said to me, if you really want to move to Nigeria, it's not the big projects that you want to do, the big businesses you want to do. You need to have, you know, a source of income which can be daily, weekly, but it has to be regular. As you know, the Good Life Mentor, Nigeria is expensive. It's not cheap.
No, it's not.
For you to be able to afford the quality of life that you want, it's not cheap. All this, what Junior was saying about NEPA writing to them, he actually showed me the email. I'm like, wow, NEPA can write to you. So for those of you who don't know, they have a band.
You're on band A.
He's on band A. Junior is on band A. He showed me. So there's a banding system with the electricity in Nigeria now, where NEPA or whatever company they call, I don't know what they call them. There's band A to whatever band, A, B, C, which is kind of classes.
They woke up and put all of us on band A, but of course, since they put us on band A, you have electricity anyway. So
you have electricity minimum of 20 hours a day. That's what I heard.
Correct. Yeah, that's true.
They said that it's supposed to be 24 hours. If you're on band A, you have a minimum of 20 hours electricity. But I hear the bills are quite high. So I said, why are you complaining? If you got the electricity, pay. This is what we do abroad.
It's cheaper than running the generator.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than
so there's band A, there's band B, there's band D, there's band C. If according to the area. So if you live in VGC, Banana Island, whatever, Ikoyi, you're on band A, some areas of Lekki. Of course, if you live in the mainland, they'll put you on band D and C.
No,
so some
areas on the mainland.
I hear that they're in Ogudu and GRO Ikeja, they are band A areas.
Yes, they are band A areas. Some people are moving now from those band A areas. Once their rent expires, they move to band B areas. You know. Yeah.
Why are they moving?
Yeah, because they feel that the band A electricity is too expensive for them.
But you have to pay for what you want. Why are they complaining? I don't see why people are complaining.
It just tells you what people are used to. How people think.
No. I can't. The Good Life Mentor, you know, you haven't lived abroad before. Don't we pay? We pay through. This is winter now. You know how much people are going to pay.
The bills.
They are not used to paying.
My hidden bill is almost $300. I'm not going to tell you what.
Exactly. You pay for it almost if you got the service. You pay. Why are you complaining?
My hidden bill is almost $300. My parking is $250. If I add the bills, trust me. So I understand the cost of living is a little bit lower, salary is a little bit lower, but if you want good roads, you want good this, you want at some point we're gonna have to start stepping up. But I want to add something. There's another thing that I get a lot from people in the diaspora. By the way, I'm gonna be moving to Abuja to retire. That's my long-term goal. Abuja is gonna be home.
Hey, we're gonna be neighbors, Junior. We're gonna be neighbors. Yay! My bro is moving to Abuja. Yeah.
So I will.
You know,
I will.
you already know Abuja is my city. You know that I love Abuja.
Oh yeah, I love Abuja. And talk about moving to Abuja. I go to Abuja a lot to understand where to live, what you know. But going back to what I was gonna talk about, there's a lot of people in the diaspora, especially in the U.S. A cousin of mine in London. I've been in London before, especially in rush hour in the morning. M25 is not a joke. Houston, not a joke. Rush hour. Dallas, you know. So I lived up north in the U.S. and it took me an hour and 15 minutes one way to get to work. An hour and 15 minutes minimum to get to work. So when people complain about traffic in Lagos, traffic is bad. Well, traffic is bad in London too. If you're driving,
That's true. That's true.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because so you know, if you live in Houston, traffic is bad. I think Houston and LA, DC, New York, Miami, those are one of the worst places to drive.
All big cities, all the big cities have bad traffic.
So
yeah.
I drove an hour, 15 minutes, an hour, 20 minutes, an hour, 30 minutes sometimes in the evening to get home. So when people are abroad and like, so you're living in Lagos, there's a traffic. Well, yeah, there's almost 28 million people living here. There's 28 million people living. There is going to be traffic. If you move to London, there's going to be traffic unless you take the tube. If you move to New York and you drive, you don't even want to go to New York and drive. That's just so you know. So if you want to move, if you really want to move back or you want to visit, please leave the excuses and wherever you want to leave the excuses. Just focus on why you're coming. If you're Nigerian and you love Nigeria and you love to be home, the reason why you left is because things were not good for you. That's the reason why you left. Don't forget. Don't forget. That's the reason why you left. You didn't leave because you didn't like the word Nigeria. You left because of the situation in Nigeria. Now that you're abroad, now that you're abroad, now I'm not talking about struggling abroad. Now you're okay. You have a decent job. You can afford to maybe come back once every 2 years, once every year, once every 3 years. You're not coming back the same way you left. You can stay like we talked about earlier. You stay in an Airbnb. You can replan your visit back to Nigeria. And then from there, you can decide what you want to do. If you want to move back, if you want to have a summer home, if you can decide what you want to do, but leave the negative stuff aside and focus on why you actually want to visit, on why you actually want to move back, or maybe have, like I said, a summer home or something like that, or investment. So let's stay focused.
You know what I love about you, Junior? You're one of the people who I know in Nigeria that is so positive. You're always dwelling on the positive. You know, it's not like to say that like you are in denial about the issues in Nigeria. Of course, you live here, so you know. But you're always very, very positive. You look at the bright side. I mean, I remember all the conversations we were having the other day about even domestic stuff and how you have to deal with them. But you're always very, very positive. I think this is the attitude that people need. But the thing I really want to dissuade people from, because I know, like I said, my relationship with Nigeria is abusive. However, a lot of people in the diaspora have this fear about Nigeria. So when I tell people I'm coming to Nigeria, they see me that I post a video and I'm in Nigeria, they say, be safe, be safe. Oh, I hope you keep safe. Somebody said in my last video, I hope you don't fall sick. The healthcare there is bad. I'm like, there are over 200 million people living here successfully. Okay, you can buy in the UK as well. You can buy in America. People buy every day in the America and everywhere you are. You know, it's the fear. You know, and then people start acting like Nigeria is such a scary place. If you come here, it's not to say that we don't have issues. But what I'm saying is that let's acknowledge that, okay, people live here and they live, some people actually is a very tiny percentage, and you the good love mentor will agree with me, a very tiny percentage of people live here and they live very successfully,
Auntie B, each
right?
time I close from work and I drive over just across the road to my tennis club, and then I'm playing tennis, you know what my friends say? Canada all over the place. They all get jealous every day. And they say,
Of course
oh,
they'll be
you live in
jealous.
life, living a good life, you know, because I mean, for me, it's just you finish and then you leave that place and then you are in the pepper soup joint and then the crowd is sitting down, myself and my friends, and then, you know, we're having this chit chat. You know, these are things that they miss every day. And then, oh, one of my guys telling me in Toronto, okay, tomorrow I have to try and go to one joint to go and get this feel that you're having out there. But this is what we have every day here that they don't
Yeah,
have.
no,
This
if
is
you have
that.
money, Nigeria is the best place in the world. I mean, the
So
way you people live, Jesus.
I need to add I need to talk about the healthcare, right? Now, this would be more of people in the US, people in Canada, people in the Netherlands, people in Spain. I think Germany, they have insurance plans. I'm about to shock you guys. My insurance plan in the US actually works in Nigeria.
Oh, wow. Tell us more, Junior. Please tell us.
Did he see that I paused there for a minute? Yeah. Let me just recap. So in case people are not hearing me very well. My insurance plan in the US works in Nigeria. I'm not going to talk about the insurance company because of this platform. You need to call your insurance plan, especially US, Canada, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Germany. If you have a private healthcare insurance, which a lot of diasporans have, especially if you're not using the national healthcare. In the US, we don't really have a really functional national healthcare system. So you have to have a private healthcare system. But if you have a private healthcare insurance plan, you can ask your insurance plan if they have an international
If it covers you. Yeah.
travel package. That's number one. Number two, if you have a certain type of credit card, I know a particular credit card. I'm not going to mention the name as well. You have to call if you have a major insurance card, which in the US we have a particular insurance card that covered one of my siblings and his kids in Nigeria. That's that. These insurance plans work in certain hospitals in Abuja and Lagos. I'm not going to mention the hospitals. You can do your research. There's certain hospitals in Abuja and Lagos that are international hospitals. The hospital that I use in Lagos, it's actually based out of Chicago. The parent company of the hospital in Lagos that I use is based off in Chicago. So the billing system, if I use an insurance plan in the US, the billing system automatically they bill it from Chicago and they bill my insurance. So when I do checkups, I don't have to go to the US. My doctors in Nigeria, they're from the US, they're from Turkey, they're from India. Some of them are Nigerian in Nigeria. And guess what? I don't have to pay a dime. As a matter of fact, I barely have to pay a deductible in Nigeria. In the US, I would have to pay a deductible. I think it's 10%. In Nigeria, I don't have to pay anything. My insurance covers everything because you're not going to the hospital all the time, right? In Nigeria, you're just doing a quick medical checkup. You just put it as you're traveling, and it works. I've used it. My brothers have used it. It's nothing new. People that know it know it. A lot of diasporans use it. Remember, a lot of expats that work in the embassies use it, especially when they're from Canada, US, Italy, Spain, Germany, Netherlands. So if you live in those countries and you have a private healthcare plan, you can use those healthcare plans in Nigeria. So let's just cut all the negativity that we have about health. If you live in the US, you definitely have a private healthcare plan. If you live in the US, you definitely have, because we don't have coverage like in the UK, Ireland, all those places. US is all private. So if you live in the US for sure and use a major insurance healthcare plan, they do have international plans. It's under their travel package. Just tell them, hey, we're traveling over call your insurance company, and if you decide to come to Nigeria, you're not going to buy in Nigeria. There's healthcare. There's hospitals that are American health hospitals.
Junior, please rest. People cry everywhere. When I posted that video when I said that I'm retiring to Nigeria, and somebody put a comment there and said, "Oh, I hope you better not get sick in Nigeria. The healthcare is bad." I almost cried in 2020 in the UK because of COVID. Is there anywhere people don't cry? I beg, leave that matter. So
and
yeah,
if you're coming from the abroad, are you going to go to General Hospital?
Exactly.
You're going to a private healthcare center, and
Exactly.
like I said, you have a private healthcare plan in those countries I mentioned. Go call them, especially when you're traveling to Nigeria, if that's your fear.
Yeah.
Which that's a silly fear, by the way, unless it's a major.
Yeah, you know what I've come to find out, Junior. Sadly, I'm not saying Nigeria has a lot of issues, and I'm the first person to call out those issues. I will call them out. Like, I was having a conversation with my friend tonight, and I said, as much as we know that there are issues in Nigeria, I call them out. Like, for instance, I was talking about how so many things don't work. There's corruption. I ranted in my last video about how I was dealing with a lot of issues with my banks and everything. However, when I started this show tonight, I talked about how good the aviation sector is now. Flying to Abuja was seamless. I mean, coming to Nigeria, I had a lot of delays and everything, but the aviation industry in Nigeria, oh my God. I flew this airline called Aero Contractors or whatever, and it was on point. They were on time. My luggage came out on time. There was no delay. The landing was so smooth. I said to my friend who actually works in the aviation industry, I was like, if he can work in the aviation, why can't he work everywhere else? The Lagos airport, the international, and this is me that I dislike. Let me not use hate, because I don't like using the word hate. It's a very strong word. But I seriously dislike Lagos airport. But what I saw, they still begged me for money when I was coming anyway. That one is normal. They will still beg you for money. What do you have for us?
So
they will still beg you for money. What do you want to give us? I say, oh God, are you not doing your work? Why should I pay you? Say, find us something. I say, okay, I've heard. Yeah, they will delay you and frustrate you, but it's so much saner. I'm not even going to lie. So much saner than it was. So for that, kudos to the aviation industry. Kudos to them. I'm really, really impressed. Okay, we are running up now. We've done an hour, 38 minutes. The Good Life Mentor. Your final words about Japada, and Kakpa.
This thing is, the truth is, if you, like what Junior just said a while ago, concerning the health insurance thing, I remember them days when I used to do a lot of travel down here. I had an insurance, that extra one that we had, that each time I was in this country, it actually allows me to be airborne, airlifted from this place back to Germany if I fell sick. It allowed me. That means they can send an airbus to pick me up as an individual and take me out of this place. But it wasn't actually that expensive, which was extra that I had because I was doing a lot of coming in and going out. But the truth is that sometimes some of our people abuse all of this and make it then become very difficult. And I never went in one day to lie that I was ill when I was not ill. At the point, somebody said to me after 10 years, "Why don't you go once and go and collect their money?" I said, "No, I will not collect their monny."
Because you got principles.
Eventually, when I had my medical issue in 2015, you remember, and I went into the hospital, it just came in handy because I was on a flight. I had a lot of tickets booked for that period. But because I had this insurance that had always been there, I'd never lied. When I sent in my papers to them, say that, oh, this was what happened and all that, they didn't have to start doing plenty of investigation. They just called the hospital and then they checked in and then they paid all the bills for all the travel and all the flights that I missed and all the period and all that. So, by and large, there is a part of Nigeria that is working. There's a part of Nigeria that, like you said, you have to choose. Everything is hard. Driving your father's car is hard. Borrowing your brother's car is hard. Eating somebody's food is hard. It's not difficult. Everything is difficult. So you have to decide to choose your own difficult. So you choose your own out of it. But in the midst of it, to understand how to live. If you master
Yeah.
the art of being contented, it will
Yeah.
look like
Content.
everything is
Yeah.
for you.
Mhm.
Content is very important, you know.
Yeah.
I'm,
And it's
I'm,
not like Obodoyibo is a walk in the park. Good
I
life
have,
mentor.
I,
Obodoyibo is
I,
not a walk
I,
in the park as well.
pardon?
I said it's not like Obodoyibo is a walk in the park, like there's no issues there.
No, let me tell you, the village, the city where I used to live in, you know, where I went to school.
It's in the
You are
village.
I mean, I call those places villages. You know, people call you. I've been to work at night. I went to do where I used to do some modeling work and all that. I finished my show to train some people, and then I was going back. The Nazis attacked me on the road, and I called the police.
Oh
They
my
said to me,
God.
"If you are still alive, run away from there."
Hmm.
Yeah, they say if you are still alive, run away from there before you start waiting for us to come and rescue you. You know, so all of these things are there, but didn't I live there for so many years? Don't we live in those places? Of course we do. So these things happen. Somebody looks at you and say, Germany is very good. You say, how? He said, this land is very good. You say, how? He said, because you are looking so beautiful. I say, how? He said, because in Africa you had kata in your nose. Yeah. He doesn't know you on the street. He just says this to you. So these things happen there, but I mean, everywhere there is racism, even in Nigeria here.
Yeah.
Igbo versus
Yeah.
Hausa,
There's
Yoruba.
tribalism. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
tribalism and all of it. So there are problems everywhere, you know.
Everywhere. Yeah. Just choose your
But
battles.
my final word to our diasporan brothers, please, it doesn't matter how much you hear, how much you detest, you know, the same way you walk around where you live out there, that's the same way people walk around this place, you know. I mean, there are places that you would not go to. Don't come and do show off. If you really want to come to Nigeria and just come and have a good time, you can come in, wear your knicker and your t-shirt. Nobody knows
Yeah.
you are from the diaspora. Don't come and speak in between your tongue and your nose.
Don't come and say,
You know?
I wanna, gonna.
Yeah, you know, because you go to a restaurant and you are doing wanna. Of course, in the local area, it's not calling you, you know, obodooyinbo, but you know, you live your life, eat your amala, do your thing, move around, take your photographs,
Yeah.
and then enjoy it and get back.
Yeah,
You know, but home is
and you
home.
know, the most important thing is that, you know, the good life mentor, we had this conversation the other day. It's not set on stone. You can Japa, Kakpa, Japada, Kakpa, Japa. There's nothing definite in this world.
That's what
It's
we
not
call
like,
migration.
yes. People feel like,
Immigration,
oh,
immigration, and
no,
migration.
it's okay. If it works for you now, it doesn't work for you like you that I'm saying, you know, I'm thinking of, you know, Japada. You can Japada and in a few years you feel like, okay, I want to Kakpa again. It doesn't, whatever works for you is fine. It's never set on stone.
There are a lot of people living in Nigeria and are working abroad today. Yeah.
Oh, Junior is one of them. Junior works abroad as well.
Yeah, so I mean,
they have contracts in the abroad. They work online, especially in the IT world. A lot of people in Nigeria work abroad.
I know a lot of young boys in the IT world that are doing extremely well. You know.
Yeah.
I know. In fact, I know a young lady here who does not want to go anywhere. She does work.
And I also know a lot of people that will tell you that, as much as you see diaspora that say, I will never come to Nigeria, my experience of Nigeria is very bad. And I respect everybody's personal experience. But I also know people who tell you that if you give me all the money in this world, I cannot go and stay in the abroad. They make their money. They've been there and they tell you, you know what, I got everything I need from there, I got it. But Nigeria is it for me. So it depends on individuals and your experiences. And every experience is valid.
So I'm gonna add more things to what I said. Follow up with the healthcare insurance, hospitals. There are nice hospitals here. Don't go to a general, if you come to visit or live here, don't go to general hospital somewhere. That's a whole different story. But I want to add, because remember in the beginning, I said there are reasons why people jackpot in the first place. Most of it is trauma-based, right?
Yeah.
Trauma-based. So when you think about what I said, trauma-based means, in my opinion, where you were living was not a comfortable way of living. Which is it's the truth. Because somebody lives in the UK and they're living next to you and they're speaking in it does not mean that you guys came from the same type of neighborhood in Nigeria. Some came from the village, some came from the city, some came from wherever they came from. So if you decide to come and live here or visit, there are options. All the options that you have here are the same things that you have in the UK. For example, there's places where I shop, or a lot of people shop in Lagos that I shop to in the UK and the US. It's
Of
the
course,
same thing.
and there are a lot of online shops that deliver to Nigeria anyway.
Yeah, and like I told you when we had breakfast, every single website that you can think of, they deliver to my house. I'm not gonna mention the names. I'll put it in the chat. Anything where you shop, I can order from where you are ordering from in the UK right now, and it gets to my house. So I see a lot of people put in the comments, "Hey, you need money. You need money." Well, do you not need money in the UK to survive, or in the US?
Exactly.
So what are
You
you
need
really
money
talking
everywhere in
about?
the world. Everywhere in the world, you need money. Yeah.
So what's the point? Are you putting you need money to add to the negative vibes of why we shouldn't be in Nigeria? That's not enough. If you want to be in Nigeria, you can get all the things you have in the UK without even packing 20 bags and coming from the UK or the US. You can come to Nigeria with a small bag and order everything you need, and it delivers to your house. Everything. When I mean everything delivers to your house now. Nigeria is not the Nigeria you left 30 years ago when, since you haven't been back, for the ones that haven't been back. Now, everything comes to your house. We have mailing systems, we have delivery, things are working. So if you want something from the UK, just go online and order. If you want that shoe that you're used to, that underwear, that pant that you're used to in the UK or in the US, just go online. It delivers to Nigeria, it delivers to your house. So, you'll be good in Nigeria if you have a plan. Once again, first key point that Uncle and I said, you have to visit first, right? After you visit, the more you visit, the more you have better insights on where you need to go, what you need to do, what your plan should be. From there, you execute your plan, and then things kind of go on from there. But don't worry about healthcare. Don't worry about the things you need that you use in the UK. You can't get it. You can get all those things. Forget about how you lived in Nigeria before you left. Now you're coming back as a king and a queen. So think that way, and you'll be just fine.
Thank you so much, Junior. I really appreciate you. You already know that I love you. You are the only one that calls me Egbobi, and I'm so happy to be your Egbo. Thank you so much, my darling.
We'll be in Abuja together.
Yes, we're returning to Abuja together. You just told me this. Now I didn't know this. So now see why I love you. Abuja. Oh my God, I love my Abuja. Okay, thank you so much, darling Junior. Look after yourself, and we'll speak soon. The Good Life Mentor. Oh yeah, let's bring this home.
Yeah, I mean, final word. Let me just write on the last talk that he said. You have variety of everything that you need actually out here. If you want it big, you have it. You want it small, you have it. Like you rightly said, don't go to a general hospital. When
I hear general hospital, it brings back some memories that are not so pleasant. But it's okay. We move.
Yeah, but but the truth is that they can buy anybody. That's the truth. So,
yeah.
You don't
that's enough. I mean, life is not very valued in Nigeria. If we are going to
have, apart from the high-end HMOs, we actually have some, very nice medium, for medium earners. There are HMOs around here that they can use. They actually do take care of you, take care of a whole lot of stuff, and you just don't feel as if you're actually using the HMOs around here, So even those that work for government here, there are so many of them. Of course, it depends on your orientation. If you work for government, you don't have to wait for the NHIS thing where they keep calling everybody before they can treat you or do stuff. So you can just on the wayside do your own thing as well, and then you have it good going for you, and then you can run that. So yeah, but ultimately this is the best place to be. Nigeria is home. For those who don't ever want to come back here anymore, we understand. We appreciate your views as well. But for me, this is the best country in the world, and I believe that somehow, someday, this country is going to work. Because I have neighbors in Germany who are asking me, and they are waiting for Nigeria to work so that they can come and buy retirement homes in Nigeria. So I mean,
oh my God,
yeah, they are telling me
God.
that we should please make Nigeria work. That they would rather come and buy a home here when they retire, come and stay here. So if I have people abroad, Oyibos who are thinking that way, then how much more we that own this place, So thank you so much.
Thank you, Good Life Mentor. I appreciate you, my darling brother. I love you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Okay, take care. Bye. Okay, we'll come to the end of the show. I actually did a 2-hour show and the internet did not shake. It didn't shake at all. Nigeria is working in some ways. In some ways, talks about moving back, healthcare, Lagos, Abuja, businesses, and all that. Good stuff, all good stuff. The thing about this life is that people will make decisions based on where they are, what they want to do, what's priority to them. Like the good mentor said, what's important to you? So it depends on individuals. Some people will tell you that Nigeria is the best place in this world for them because it's working for them. And some people will tell you that I will never come to Nigeria again. Nigeria did this to me. Nigeria did that to me. We have a lot of Nigerians also sitting very pretty on that table. But, before I leave, what I'm going to tell you before I leave the show is that don't always go with what people are saying. Because, again, what makes it to social media is usually the bad stuff. And I always say, people, there are over 200 million people living here. And some of them live very successful life. So it's all about you. What's important to you? What do you want when you are 70? What is important to you? So it's individual choice. And we know as Nigerians, people don't know how to respect other people's choices. So they will come and query you. And somebody said in one of my videos that I posted since I came to Nigeria that after the way you've been bashing Nigeria, you finally moved there. Like I'm not Nigerian. They always contesting Nigeria. They're like some people feel like they love Nigeria more than you. And some people are like, hey, you're saying that Lagos is this, Lagos is that. Oh my God. It is well. So it's up to you. What do you want? What's important to you? For me, I'll tell you what's important to me, why Nigeria will always be in my heart. I don't like the cold. I don't like the isolation. Racism is not so much in the UK. There's racism, but not so much. It's not overt. I like the communal living in Nigeria. I like the sunshine. I like the food. I like the weather. I like the people. Nigerians they are too friendly. You don't need to know anybody. You just, before I leave, let me give you a story. When I was coming to Abuja, on this airline that they say is Hero Contractors, we're talking. I saw something that I observed, and I'm going to send the video to the lady because we are friends now. I didn't know she's Obodo Farm. And this is to all of you that are watching me from Nigeria that you're not subscribed. I have a lot of subscribers in Nigeria that they don't subscribe. They watch, but they don't subscribe. Dr. Miriam, hello, darling. How are you? I miss you. Good to see you, darling. And then, you know how you usually take the shuttle bus to get to the plane? On this shuttle bus, and I saw a lady carrying a baby, and she's with her mother or her mother-in-law. I don't know. She's an elderly lady, so I just assume that, she must be her mother or mother-in-law. And there are all these men sitting down. None of them offered their seats for this woman that is carrying a baby and her elderly mother. I was pissed off. Because the thing about Nigeria is that there's a culture here. There's the way people are socialized, the way people reason, the way people behave. But when you are coming from the outside, mind you, I've lived in the UK for how long? Almost 20 years. So now I'm looking inward from, my perspective is different. I see things differently. And I'm like, oh my God, all these men, I'm standing, by the way. Oh, it took the grace of God for me not to go and tap one of the men and say, Uncle, please, can you stand up for this woman that's carrying a baby? Priority. What does priority mean to you? This priority is elderly people, pregnant people, or people carrying children, women carrying children, or men carrying whatever, people with babies. And then I got into a conversation when we got down to board, and this lady, and I'm like, I said to the lady, I said, can you see that there were a lot of men sitting down and they didn't stand up? for this woman carrying a baby. She said, it's like that. This is Nigeria. This is the way they are socialized. And I said, no. Yorubani tababie omatura ebini. I don't care whether this is the way you are socialized. You need to retrain yourself. How are you a man, a grown man, can see a woman carrying a baby and an elderly person that is frail, and you can't give up your seat? And she said, you are talking like somebody that I know. And she said, what's your name? I said, my name is Bree. She turned around and looked at me properly. This was around 6 a.m. She jumped on me and said, Auntie B, I follow you on. So I said, where are you sitting? We sat together. We just all the way to Abuja. You know, these are the conversations. I'm like, why? When you go abroad, you don't behave like this. Why is it that when you come to Nigeria, you behave like this? How can you not? Do you need anybody to tell you that a woman that is carrying a baby is priority? These men sat down and they were looking. So there are a lot of issues in the community, in the society, in Nigeria. But you know what? There are still some areas or some things that you will see and you say, this is important to me. So I will tell you, you know how I always say it, I don't see myself at 17 years old doing housework, cleaning. In Nigeria, I have a driver, I have a chef, I have a cook, I have everything. As long as you have the money and you can afford it, it is available. Ask Junior. Junior told me that he has a menu. Sorry, Junior. I'm telling your business. I'm so sorry, my love. Menu for breakfast. Where can you do that? It's not to say that he doesn't have issues with his domestic staff. Oh. So I'm like, how am I going to be 70? And no, obodooyinbo doesn't work for me because I've seen what old age is like. I've seen, because I work with, you know, the elderly and you know, old people in my career. I've seen it over the years that no, it doesn't work. The cold and, you know, all the innuendos of, you know, the people, the way they treat you because you are black and all that. But that's not to say that Nigeria doesn't have issues. Nigeria does have issues as well. However, you have to choose your battles and you choose them carefully. For me, I will always choose the sunshine. I will choose the service. Junior, you didn't take me to Akara and Pap though. You took me to French breakfast place. For that, I have some beef with you. I always choose the service. I choose the community. You know, when I'm with my friend in Lagos, she's calling. When there's a delivery, she's calling her neighbor. You know, all the small shops around. She's like, oh, I'm not at home. Can you? They will say, oh, yes, ma. Yes, ma. They will pick you up. Is that communal living? I love it. I'm a people's person, so I love that communal living. And that is the thing I miss in the abroad. The cold, I hate the cold. I hate winter. But that communal living, oh my God. Everybody knows everybody. I'm telling you, my brother was shouting across the road to the neighbor across the road and say, Aja, how are you? How is life? Oh, we haven't seen you in 3 days. Obodooyinbo, loneliness ain't go finish your life. So, I mean, it's not set on stone and there's no definite answer to all these questions. Nigeria has issues. Obodooyinbo has his own issues. So for everybody, you just need to decide what works for you. And finally, I'm just going to say 50-50. Somebody said something and said, you know what? I don't know why people are stressing about this. Just do 50-50. You stay here, you stay here. It's possible for you to live in 2 countries successfully. Yeah. And for me, I think that's what I like. Like I told you guys, winters, I'm here. Spring to summer, I'm there. Yeah. Once you have your documentation, God blesses you. They give you the citizenship. You have the Pali and everything. Yeah. But there are some people that, you know, despite the, what did I call it? I say it's an abusive relationship that I have with Nigeria, according to Omoni. Omoni says she has an abusive relationship, and I just key into it. But Nigeria will always be home. So I've lived in the abroad for close to 20 years, and I've never felt at home there. I talk about all the issues in Nigeria all the time. You guys know I sing about it. I talk about it all the time, but this is home. It's always home, and it will always be home. So thank you, everybody. I hope you take the lessons and, you listen to all the advices from all our guests and the people that spoke. There's a reason why Hausa people don't go abroad, and they go abroad and come back. Oh, it is well. Whatever works for you, as long as you're happy. Okay, as adults, we have autonomy, we have mental capacity, and we have independence to make our choices. Yeah. Sissy says she's coming. Our wife is coming. Oh. Sissy said, JL, thank you, my darling. I'm coming. Sissy, I need to bring you to Nigeria. I've had so much fun. I'm not even going to lie. Everywhere I go, madam. I don't like the madam. I tell them, don't call me madam, because I'm not used to it. People like it, but I don't. I'm a very simple person. Don't call me madam. Just, if you don't want to call me by name, just call me Auntie B. I'm okay with that. But, it's just the fellowship. What I love about Nigeria is the open communities. Everybody talks to everybody. Everybody is, you laugh. You drive out of your gate. People are greeting you. Everybody greets everybody. If you live long enough in the abroad, you don't know how to greet anymore. You will not greet because you're not used to it. You greet your people, they will nod their head. So, yeah, I'm in Nigeria. I love Nigeria. And I think Africa has got great potentials. But we just need to have the right systems, the right governance, and less corruption, less, all these things that we don't like. But people live successfully here. And it's not to say that everybody that is abroad is successful. There are so many people that are jonesing. If you know what jonesing is, people that are suffering, they're abroad. Yeah. But whatever works for you, and like I said to the good Lord mentor, there's nothing that's set on stone. You can live here, you go abroad, you come back, you go, it doesn't matter. Whatever works for you. Ireo. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys. I love you. God bless you. Have a good evening. Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and like this video. A lot of my Nigerian subscribers are not liking. Kilo day. Nigerians, I'm with you guys now. Why are you not liking this video? Why? A lot of you watch, but you are not subscribed. That's not good. You are not helping my ministry. Oh. Please like the video and make sure you subscribe. Yeah. And I shall catch you later.
Hey guys, it's your girl Auntie B here. Are you enjoying this show? Are you gaining some value from it? Have you subscribed? Have you liked this video? Or you're just one of those people that come to watch and walk away? YouTube subscription is absolutely 100% free. Do remember to subscribe. Do remember to share this video and also give us a thumbs up and share it on all your social media handles. Share it on your WhatsApp groups. Send it to your friends, your loved ones in Nigeria. And if you want to support our work by donating to the channel, we have the details of our PayPal and our accounts here. Please use them. And remember, God loves a generous giver. Support our work, show us appreciation. The year is coming to an end. Say, Auntie B, this is for your Christmas present. Just send us a donation today. And I really appreciate all my lovers and my friends out there. Thank you. Ajoshewa Onibajo.
So, in closing, Kwalisa is doing sales. So she's doing Kwalisa.inc is doing sales. You know how we do. Natsu is here. She's doing, Thanksgiving sales. Please use up to 25% discount on all orders. Use Obodo Farm to get 10% off on all orders. You need to smell good. Okay, wherever you are in this world, please, bad smell is not allowed. You have to smell good. So use that Obodo Farm to order and get 25% off on all orders. And there's for every 10% discount, and it depending on how you order, sometimes she gives free delivery as well. So free shipping up to 25% discount on all orders. So visit Kwalisa.inc. Yeah, Kwalisa.inc and put your order in, and it will be delivered to you wherever you are. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Man of Prestige. Pawoni, Shedadani. See you soon. Bye. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate you. I love you. Bye, guys.